Today, as we start this show, this one mic. We hail. And boom. There is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughed up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron show.
All right, that's enough of that. We getting up. We're gonna get started. We're gonna get into the deliberations or whatever we got going on. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's Labor Day weekend. It's football weekend. Welcome to One Mic here on RSG. I'm here with my guys. Hank somewhere eating something. So we'll see him at some point in the near future. But we're just gonna go with the fellows right here doing their thing. We got my man. I'm gonna bring my man in from Shy Village. My man. Hammer, what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, still unpacking. So you see little boxes in the background. Sorry about that, but keep it raw here on Real Sports Guys. But I'm doing well, man. Doing well. Great to be back home. And like I said, great to be back to Shy and get some Heroes chicken. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up, man.
Oh yeah,
you get that in Wisconsin.
You look comfortable, man. You look comfortable over there.
Man, dude, it's low stress in the suburbs, man. Low stress, man. Neighbors are quiet. Everybody's quiet. Ain't no baby's kids around, man. It's all good, man. People don't hardly speak. They just do their thing in the suburbs, man.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
It is, man. It is. They leave me alone. I leave them alone. It's all good, man.
Okay.
It's quiet, man. You sleep. No, all you hear is only thing you hear is firecrackers. That's it, man.
Oh, you
don't hear gunshots. That's what's up.
You gotta love that.
No gunshots.
Yeah, love that. And then we got my man Darnell the Youngin. How you doing, man? How'd y'all do this week?
Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go.
Hey man, y'all skipped out on me last week, so I gotta give credit to where credit was due. I know that video been surfacing around Twitter and the internet for the last month or so, but that's the way I feel right now. I gotta play it again for y'all. I gotta. Nah, I'll save it. Yeah, it's all about Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. 734 Imani Bates committed to the University of Memphis with Jalen Duren. They building something over there. We didn't get to talk about it because y'all canceled the show on me. But you know what?
We didn't want to talk about that.
Of course, y'all don't want to talk about that.
No, we can talk about that.
That's what I want to say.
We can talk about something's fishy up in there.
Rashid's
up in there.
Yeah,
they clowning. Rashid's up in there.
Oh yeah,
Rashid ain't a good role model for kids, man.
We'll get that. Rashid
ain't a good role model for kids, man.
Before we get into the proceedings, we just want to let y'all know y'all can find us on realsportsguys.com, and we'll hit you up with our social media stuff as we move throughout the show. But yeah, let's get up here in the open mic, man, and talk a little bit. So Darnell, after you got an issue you want to put on the table, or something that you've been paying attention to, so put it on the table.
Put Imani Bates and Jalen Duren on the table, bro. Let's talk.
Imani Bates, Jalen Duren, the reclassified duo. I guess you could call them that. The juniors that's playing up, but they move into the college ranks. They're doing it together. They're taking on a team that didn't make the tournament last year, but they have a star head coach, a star name, not necessarily. He has to prove that he's a star on this level as far as a coach.
He should go to Orlando. That's another story, though.
No, he's right where he needs to be.
He always go back to college, son.
Memphis.
Always go back to college. You go to the pro game.
Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. He's where he needs to be. That's He got Imani. They got Jalen Duren. Last year, if you look at KenPom, there was I think they said they was the number one defense in the country. And I don't know how they didn't make the tournament with the number one defense in the country, but if they with that defensive mentality, that's something that Imani needs. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy, he gonna put the ball in the hole, but he needs help on the other end of the floor to to
I ask you a question though. He had to play 2 years there, right? He's not eligible.
Oh yeah, he got to play. Yeah, he has to play 2 years.
Yeah. Both of them got to because I saw both of them. Both of them got because I saw.
No, Jalen Duren's birthday is earlier than
Really? Because I saw both of them aren't on mock draft 2022. You sure about that?
Imani's birthday is in 2004. He was born in 2004. In
they might be speculating they might stay together. He won't turn pro. That's what they probably speculating, right? Because they came as a package deal, right? Because they were playing.
Of course, they came as a package. I'm gonna break it down to you. Imani's birthday is in January of 2004, so he's ineligible for this next year's draft. Jalen Duren was born in November of 2003, so he is eligible for this year's draft. That's the difference.
Okay. Well, I think
Jalen Duren probably will go pro. Jalen Duren probably will. I'm not sure. And then what seals this is, Elgin, they said they know it's a 1 year commitment as far as the thing, because with the NCAA they got the open transfer thing. So he could play. He could play a year with Jalen Duren, and then Jalen Duren goes to the league, and he just goes and money goes to wherever he wants to go next.
What about a lawsuit? Let's challenge that stupid rule, and let's have a money get his money. Like
I don't see that. I don't see him pulling a Maurice Claret.
He needs to. Man.
I don't see that happening.
It's different now, man. He probably can win this time. He can win that case this time, man. I believe that.
I don't see it.
Now open up in sports. I'm tired of these cats. All black men have to be paused yet in soccer and baseball. All the other sports, they get to turn pro when they want to, but the black sports, they got to prove themselves and wait. All that mess. So I'm not down with that. They need to file a lawsuit, man. I'll file it. Let me file it. Shoot, I'm licensed. I'll file it, man.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Let me get
equity, man. Absolute equity, man.
I'm gonna say this because it's. I said this to the youngin that I think that's actually a pretty good move that happened because going back to what I said before about Penny, we were going back and forth a little bit about who was what and what was what, but I think Penny's the perfect style of player because Penny is played a style that Imani needs to play. He was a big guard. He can play outside, inside. He can handle. He's somebody, and he was a star. I think he's the right mentor for him at this point. And I think the point that you made, Darnell, about him need to play on the other end of the court. I think having somebody like that who can talk to him about it, who's been there. Not only been there, was a mega.
Somebody like Rashid that's not going to take no mess. If you mouth out that Rashid, he going to give it back to you.
Yeah, Rashid going to take you to behind the curtain. So he got the right people around.
You can't do that with college kids, though, man.
Well,
you don't mess around and be Rashid going to be off campus.
There's a way. There's a way you could talk to him that you mean business.
I don't know Rashid know that, man.
Rashid has mastered that enough. I think I think it's a great move. There's other teams that are still good. I think Michigan still got a great class coming in. I think there's great class. It's going to be great basketball. I'm not. He's been challenged by some cats coming in. Like, every time I see him doing heads up with players, some of these guys are getting after him. So
Boogie Ellis.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not Boogie Ellis. I'm tripping. Oh my God. I said the wrong name. I'm thinking of the short guard that's going to Michigan, not Boogie Ellis. Boogie Ellis is on Memphis' team. I don't know why I said. Shoot. That's going in the blooper reel.
Too late, man. We got it's 10 to 20 your time. We got time, man.
You got late over there.
Get back to the
Frankie Collins. Frankie Collins. That's the kid's name.
Thank God. You went from Boogie to Frankie. Dag, bro. You need some sleep, bro. We know you're young, but you still need some sleep. Yeah, man. I was your age, man. Yeah, I went on 4 hours, but it only lasts so long, bro. Your body says no after a while, man.
So,
bro.
He, Young had talked about. He's been waiting to try to, share what's happening with Armani. But
Yeah, he was giving all these hints. We knew what was up, man.
Yeah, but what?
No,
So,
I was saying we talking about him going to Memphis. That's all I said. I just wanted to say that. I didn't want to scroll past this topic though.
Well,
That's all.
you got a secret sauce. We know that. We know you connected, man. Plus, he's for Ypsilanti. We know what's up. So you knew from the get go. So I give you props on that, man.
Yeah, you put it in the group chat like it was a question. He was like, "Oh, he went to Memphis?" Question mark. I was like, "Man, I told you a month ago he was going."
I was being facetious, bro. That's why I had a problem with text.
Oh man,
y'all young people, man. I was being facetious. So I should have put a smiley face next to emoji, then you would have understood. But I didn't do it. But yeah.
Man.
But that's
you told us he's going to Memphis. You told us he's going to Memphis a month ago, man. I listened to you. Like I said, you think we can argue and stuff, man? I got respect. You know I got respect for you. You know that. You know your stuff. Now there's some stuff you need to be learned on like anything else. You ain't perfect.
Andrew Thomas.
We have to school you.
Andrew Thomas.
Yeah, Andrew Thomas.
He make a fool out of
Andrew
me.
Thomas. Did I tell you? Andrew Olay Thomas. That's his nickname.
Hey, but
Olay, at the bullfight. Olay. He let everybody know.
I'm not the only guy that like Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas, coming out of college, he was the number one rated guy by football.
Real talk, it's only his second year. He needs some better technique and stuff like that, man. I just saw that was just raggedy, man. I mean, you're right. I mean, he played much better. I ain't trying to play both sides. I'm just keep it real. I just thought that Tristan Wirtz and other cats were better than him. But the bottom line is I wasn't saying he was garbage.
No, I wasn't.
He's like hot garbage right now, man.
And on the other side, I wasn't saying Tristan Wirtz was garbage. I was saying
I agree. You were saying
this is my philosophy. I like to see guys do it. I don't like to assume that guys can do it. I like to see guys do it.
I like both, man. You deal with money.
I saw Andrew Thomas handle Caleb Von Chason, and in that year, if you remember, Caleb Von Chason was the number one rated offense.
In the country. Yeah, I remember that.
No, he was not the number one. Obviously, you had Chase Young. Other than Chase Young, Caleb Von Chason.
He's like number two, number three. Yeah,
and you can see, and we had reps on tape of him really taking it to Caleb Von Chason. So I'm like, I've seen him do it. We're saying that Tristan Wirtz could do it because of what we're seeing out of him athletically in the combine, but I need to see him do it in pads. And he
got a big Super Bowl ring, big as our heads right now. So he did something right, bro.
Hey man, he showed it. He proved it. I'll take my hat off to him. And Andrew Thomas
is salvageable. He's salvageable. I give it that. He ain't that bad. I mean, he looked terrible, and I was like, bro, like, was he all night? In the club, whatever.
All right, so we Hammer.
Bring it down.
What's been you've been paying attention to here in the world of sports?
Man, I've been paying attention to all these ring chasers going with LeBron. They all be embarrassed of themselves. All these ring chasing groupies, LeBron's groupies, DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, and all these cats, man. Getting Westbrook, man, they still gonna lose. They're still gonna lose.
So
they're still gonna lose. All those cats, they're still gonna lose. Brooklyn gonna take it. They're still gonna lose.
DeAndre
they all be groupies with LeBron.
I thought and good friends with thought DeAndre was good friends with KD.
Hey, it's a business, man. DeAndre ain't played that well lately, so they let him go. It's a business, man. Business. I mean, friendships only go so far, man. You can't get a job done. It's business. Like. I was up here talking about some craziness. You'd be like, Carl, we've gone another direction on the show, brother. I mean, you have me on here to bring insightful opinions. I was on here talking some mess. You'd be like, Carl, get your thing together, GSU, and do that. Darnell brings it, man. But if we were up here talking some mess, shoot, we get cut just like we friends, but it's business, man. You got a brand out here. Rsg, that's how you got 130 likes on Facebook. They don't like no mess. You know what I'm saying? We've gotten viral stuff, man. Where we bring it. Short notes, things like that, man. So yeah, friendships only go so far. So yeah, KD's about business. He had to get that gold medal. He got that right. One mess up with France, they're like, they put Drew in the lineup, they got in. So that's the bottom line. Friendships only go so far, bro.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. What do you think about? I mean, Darnell, what do you think about what's happening in LA? I said it. I said, well, it's gonna be some crazy load management happening out there in LA. But you know, LeBron don't go. LeBron and Westbrook don't be going for the load management. I sent a tweet out. Hit Shaq up. I was like, you better send him a lifetime supply of icy hot and some of them pads. It's gonna be the LA Lakers sponsored by Icy Hot.
That's for sure. That's for sure. They gotta. Yeah, man. That team is pretty old, pretty long in the tooth. But I don't even know if you can consider DeAndre Jordan a lob threat at this point. Would you call him a lob threat? Because what I said last year is when they swapped out Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee for Marc Gasol and Andre Drummond, that was a big mistake because LeBron was missing guys that he could just throw lobs to. That saves miles off of LeBron because he don't have to go. He don't have to take it all the way to the rim. He could come off the pick and roll and just throw it up and have a big man go up and get it. But Marc Gasol wasn't really doing that for him. Mm-hmm. But but DeAndre Jordan in his heyday, he could fill that role. But I don't know how many miles is left in the knees. And I think it's just a flyer, but I don't see it.
They just try to get him a ring. That's all, bro. They feel bad for him. Want to give him a ring. You know, and Brooklyn knew he couldn't play, so because they brought back Aldridge.
And Paul Millsap. They got Paul Millsap.
Yeah, Paul Millsap. Yeah, they got Blake back. They don't need DeAndre, man. DeAndre, you know, he reminds me of you remember Jack Haley?
Yep.
Yeah, he waving a towel like Jack Haley. That's all he's gonna do next year, man.
What's interesting though?
Paul Millsap signing is the interesting one to me.
I like the Paul Millsap signing.
You want to have multiple bodies you want to have multiple bodies to throw at LeBron, and you know what it reminded me of. You remember the 2013 and the 2014 NBA Finals. The way that the San Antonio Spurs played against LeBron, you don't always have to have the speedy guys on them, the guys like, you know, just to stay in front of them. But sometimes you just want bigger. You want to change it up. Like you got guys like Kawhi, but you also had Boris Diaw in that series. Boris Diaw had an interesting thing because you would think just looking at him like Boris Diaw can't hang with this guy. He can't. He's not gonna be able to stay in front of him. But you have a big body that you tell him to back up. You want to kind of dare LeBron to shoot jumpers. You want him to tell him take the jumper instead of, you know, beating you downhill where now he's making plays. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff. He can score and facilitate. Now you're trying to make him just a jump shooter, and that's just another option that they can throw at him because they have Paul Millsap that can do that kind of deal, and you also have Blake Griffin that can do that too. So you have those guys, and you can also throw possibly a Bruce Brown at him to switch it up a little bit. But you have multiple different body types and different types of looks you can throw at them.
All right, you listen to Rsg One Mic. We're here in the open mic, talking a little bit of college basketball. We talk a little bit about the Lakers and the Lakers icy hot and what's happening over there in Brooklyn. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world of of sports in general as well. We got NFL coming up here this week, and getting excited about that. But we're gonna get into the cipher, man. It's right now. It's about this college football, and we had some text messages going back and forth last night. It just told me, as much as and you hear Carl and we probably push a little bit more because we're a little older cats here, but I think Youngin comes along with us on some of it. But boy, I hope a lot of folks are vaccinated. Now, I know when I look at Camp Randall, because I'm there, we got 90% of our students are vaccinated. I don't know about everybody else coming in there. So when they were jumping around in there, I know most likely a lot of those students were vaccinated. But we all over the country, boy, folks was just doing their thing around it. It was college football. But at the same time, it was just good to I mean, when Enter the Sandman and Virginia Tech comes running out, I sent that into the to our group chat. I mean, that just sends chills. I got to get Phil T on because I bet you he was at the game. I love to get him on to kind of tell us what it was like because I bet you he was there. He's assistant professor over there at Vol Tech, so I know he was there getting the feeling out there as they were coming in. But it was a big weekend, and the ACC is stumbling out the gate. And we talked a little bit about that, and we had some other major programs stumble out the gate.
A lot of guys are stumbling out the gate, and
Yeah,
definitely
stumbling out the gate.
Mississippi State almost lost, man. They were firing Mike Leach for the game.
Yeah,
he pulled out the game and won the game, but he's still firing for the game, man.
I mean, UCLA and LSU going at it, but it was a good Saturday. I was Wisconsin. There's questions. Did they get rid of the right quarterback? Because
yeah, they did.
Down here at Notre Dame doing his thing.
Yeah, against Florida State, man, and he played against Penn State. Come on, man.
I mean, look, before we got on here,
this ain't Florida State.
Got on here, you're speaking a different thing. Now, don't get on.
Bobby Bowden passed away, man. Don't
I got love for everybody over there. Don't get over there and get crazy now, because I got
Florida State
over here.
They're raggedy.
Okay.
They're raggedy. Florida State.
Youngin.
They're raggedy.
Youngin. What didn't he say that Notre Dame Wisconsin game gonna be interesting? All right.
It's gonna be interesting, But Florida State's raggedy. That doesn't make it's gonna be interesting because
we don't know what Florida State is right now. They got some decent plays in the first half. They got to learn how to play, but we don't know what they are right now. Just like we.
But like I said in the group chat, we don't know we don't know what nobody is. It's week 1. We bringing in all these preconceived.
We know what Washington is, man. Washington can't beat Montana at home. We know what Washington is. Let's not go there now. Some of these other people, yeah, we know what Washington is. You lost to somebody you ain't lost to 100 years. We know what Washington is. Jimmy Lake is a nice realtor in Seattle. He'll need one real soon, man. His bags better be packed. That's all I know. But that brother.
That was an Appalachian State loss right there, boy. That's a hard one.
That's worse than that, man. 100 years?
100 years. Oof. Yeah, that we know. Yeah, we might know who they are. We don't know. We'll find out next week when they play Michigan.
They don't get stomped.
If they turn around and beat Michigan, that's going. Wait a minute, Carl. You can't do that because remember last year Michigan looked like world beaters when they housed Minnesota, and then the next week they lost.
Yeah, but I think it's different. You got a team that.
And then wait, who did Michigan State lose to week 1 last year? Like Michigan State
was some Humpty Dumpty team.
I forgot what team they lost to. They lost to some scrubs week 1.
And Tuck We Trust, right, man?
Yeah, and then they came back and then they beat Michigan.
Yeah, that's true. They came back beat Michigan.
A lot of people beat Michigan, but now Michigan got a run.
No, I'm saying, but going into that game, Michigan.
Yeah, you're right. Darnell,
we were talking about Joe Milton. Wait. We were on this show, and you guys were calling Joe Milton the second coming of Cam Newton.
Well, he still might be. He got a job at Tennessee. He won a job at Tennessee.
Might look like, he might look like T. Martin. He might look like the next second coming of T. Martin.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Josh
Heupel gonna have him going up, and he gonna coach him up.
There's a lot
Speaking of coaching up,
running back over UCLA.
We talked about Washington losing to Montana. We also saw Oklahoma play a real close game with Tulane. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of teams struggle with lesser opposition. But on the other end of the spectrum, what do we take away from Auburn? It seemed like in the first
Auburn, one of my best friends is Akron's AD.
They scored on every offensive possession.
Let's not go there. That's one of my best friends.
And Brian Harsin. And you gotta let me finish.
My best friend's AD. Let's not go there.
You gotta let me finish the point.
Well,
Brian Harsin,
Charles Guthrie, man.
Brian Harsin.
They're doing Akron. Akron gonna be good in a couple of years, man. They got that money.
Right. We talking about this year. Let's go. So what are you gonna say?
All right. So Brian Harsin has
let him go.
Brian Harsin has never had this much like athleticism before. He's usually coaching up at Boise State. So what is
Boise lost?
So what I'm saying, but he's been doing he had been doing well with Boise State.
Hard's a
And
good
now
coach, man.
he's a good coach, but are we going to see Auburn turn around with better coaching? Because
We'll see.
because they look really good. Because they did what you're supposed to do. When you're on a team where you're playing against a team that shouldn't be on the field with you, you have to make them look like they shouldn't be on the field with you. You can't do what Oklahoma did against Tulane. You can't do what Washington did against Montana. You can't do what you got to
get the people supposed to get that check and get whooped, but other people had different ideas. They got their check and they whooped. So no, you're right. So the bottom line is, Akron got a long way to go, but that's my guy. They'll be good in a couple of years, man. They'll be good in a couple of years.
Well, I mean, Auburn beat Akron like they're supposed to be Akron. The thing about Auburn, the problem you have at Auburn is you have delirious fandom, and so I think they might be going the right direction. But if they lose the wrong games, you can win 10 games. He could have a great season. But at Auburn, if you lose the wrong games, people lose their mind. They on Paul Feinbaum show. Paul, Paul, they start talking. They can't even get out.
Paul. I can't believe you lost to Alabama. I had to go and poison the tree, Paul. I poisoned the tree. I had to do it.
But that's not the show. Let's do is that Marty and McGee show. That tells you the real thing of the South. I never forget that because about a year ago, cats were called up from. They're like, I'm from Alabama, man, and we ain't shutting down no football here. We gonna play. They ain't shutting us down. We gonna play.
So I got
liberals shut us down.
Auburn is one. Yeah. So my question is, I mean, they probably could play well, but it's one of those schools that you could have an excellent season, have 1-2 losses. The 1 or 2 bad losses are the ones that people are gonna remember, even though you have a great season. That's the tough thing about a job like that. I always say,
fire someone like Gus Malzahn, that's crazy. But again, you have, I mean, that's the only thing down there, man. I mean, they got basketball is good with Pearl, but yeah, they're unrealistic in their football. They're not Bo Jackson. This isn't 1982. This isn't Cam Newton.
Never really take a job like
so
when you don't have to. You can win places. You don't necessarily have to take a job with delirious folks.
Yeah,
but you're right.
People turn that job down. Like Billy Napier turned that job. People turn that job down. I mean, Brian Hart's wasn't the first choice. You know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, he wasn't the first choice. He was like the 7th choice because people knew that's a no-win situation. Up in Auburn, I mean, I got one of my friends in Milwaukee who was born in Auburn, and he left there about 5 years old. They up there every weekend. He's up there at the TV. I'm like, man, you live in Milwaukee now? He's like, man, I'm Auburn, dog, all day. I was born in Auburn. I grew up in Auburn, man. It was straight up, man. They're fanatics, bro.
It's crack kills. But Alabama looked like Alabama.
Oh yeah.
I gotta give it to youngin. I was trying to hope that your boy had him going down there in Miami, and they just got Michael Irvin. I can't wait to hear Michael Irvin on Monday. Can't wait to hear Michael Irvin on Monday.
Hey, I told you. I said
you called it.
You said you was like every now and again the U was gonna come back, and I was like, you know what? Or it could go the other way. It could go like when USC thought they was gonna be something, and they came into Alabama in 2017. But yeah, like you was like you were saying, oh, they could come back, and I hit you with the Roy Jones Jr. He's not getting up, Jim. He's not getting up. He's not getting up.
I can't even fight that one. I got I was hoping. I was like, come on, y'all, be competitive. And it was just
Miami's gotten better, but they ain't back, bro. They ain't back, dude. They ain't back. I mean, Larry Coker had them better than this, man.
Man,
it's going to be hard for them to be back because, especially with the way Alabama is right now, because we're talking about I think you said you think Georgia could beat Alabama. You think Georgia's going to beat Alabama this year? I was like, no, man. You got to realize Alabama is like Georgia on defense and Ohio State on offense. That's the level that they're at.
I would agree with you, but my point is, in games like that doesn't matter sometimes with a team.
But what I'm saying is, Georgia has to play a perfect game to win that game.
And I think
they're not the team. They're not going to be able to score with them. They're not going to be able to. If they go down, say they go down 17-7, they don't have the offense that can catch up.
That JT Daniels ain't that good, man. He's not that good. He got a card deal for what?
No, JT Daniels is
decent. Card deal.
What you don't know is George Pickens, which is going to be a top 5 receiver prospect in the NFL draft towards ACL in the spring. What you don't know is Darnell Washington, who plays tight end. He's another super top. He's really up there prospect. He got injured. He didn't play in the game. Like they're missing like a good 2 or 3 skill players on the outside to run routes. So like on top of that, Clemson has a very talented defense. You got guys like Miles Murphy, guys like Brian Brzee. You got guys like Barrett Carter back there, guys like Andrew Booth, and then on top of that, you got the talented guys like that. But on top of that, you got guys leading them that's been there for 4 or 5 years, like James Skalski, guys like Justin Foster, guys like KJ Henry, guys like Xavier Thomas. These guys have been there forever. These guys have been there since Obama been in office. I mean, this is you. Yeah, you got something. They're not playing just like a normal, your normal defense, especially going down. I mean, I think JT Daniels is fine.
But Georgia will always lose that game. They'll lose that game. They'll
get to Alabama.
Apart. And part of it is, and we had this going back and forth, is the conservative nature. They play with scared money. I mean, they don't release the hounds sometimes. Now, Mike Rick did sometimes under his regime. He tried, but it seemed like they get tight in those things. They don't need to get tight in to get over the top, and it's just something psychologically because they got the players, and you just like, and you at the end of the year, you're like, how did they lose that game? Like you go like, well, how did they lose a game? Like you watch them and you see them in a bowl game. They'll get in a bowl game where they get knocked out of the, if they're not playing, if they don't get knocked out of one of the Final Four games. But you'll see them play another team. You're like, well, how does this team lose? And so there's something that doesn't allow them to get over the top because they got the talent.
They definitely do.
They got the talent.
What do you think about the other way around? Like from the Clemson perspective, what do you take away from that?
I think Clemson's a good team. I believe even though they have all those players. The 2 players they lost, Etienne and losing Trevor, that's a lot of leadership on the offensive side of the ball. Even though they got some guys who come with it, when you got a kid like that that's been leading you, it's always a little bit of transition period. I think they're gonna be fine. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes when you have a running back like Etienne who just does little things, blocks, does all the little stuff, does a lot of leads, the stuff that might be happening in the locker room that you don't see. It's a lot of that little stuff. Even though they got a lot of leaders, those are some special players. And I think, they got the culture. They'll overcome it. I'm not saying they won't. But they'll have a little bit of lumps here. But, I mean, they're going to win. I don't see nobody in the ACC that's going to challenge it. The problem they got is because these guys lost so many games, some of the key teams lost games. Those games aren't going to mean the same. Even though those teams I think might be good by the time they play them, they're not going to come with the same kind of energy as if North Carolina would open with a win. Some of that other stuff would have happened. They would have had some really good
Duke
matches.
lost to Charlotte. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You can say right now they probably that loss might knock them out of the playoff for the whole year.
Yeah,
right.
Real talk.
In my opinion, you naming the wrong guy. Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, they're very talented guys. I'm taking nothing away from them. The guy they missed was Amari Rogers.
Yeah,
when Clemson is good, they have the Hunter Renfrow. They have the Amari Rogers. They need somebody that can be a middle of the field presence. Everything with Clemson was going outside towards the numbers. They're trying to threaten Georgia vertically, but at the end of the day,
with Justin Ross,
at the end of the day, that's the wrong strategy because Georgia has
over the past 2 years.
Georgia has the track stars.
Trevor,
you're not going to be able to outrun.
Trevor won some big games for them. Not just passing with his feet.
By running the football. Yeah. But still, at the same time.
He knew when to run. He knew when to run. He knew those players were great, but he knew when to run and when to stay in the pocket.
Well, you get man. Trevor Lawrence was generational talent.
First of all,
Right.
DJ was.
You say
Usually not that. He
I'm
ain't
not
that
saying
bad.
that's a
He ain't
bad
bad
thing,
as
but
he
he's a
showed last night.
generational talent.
The pass rush
You
was
can say
just too much in my opinion. Because even with Trevor Lawrence's running ability, you saw it in the Ohio State game last year when the offensive line can't hold up because you're not going to be able to. Not every team is going to be able to expose Clemson's deficiencies, especially in the ACC that they're playing against. And we saw it last year. Like Travis Etienne, he struggled last year. He struggled because their offensive line was poor. Then they're still poor this year. It looks like that's what it looks like. Well, I haven't seen them against every other team, but I seen them against Georgia, and Georgia was able to test them. But last year when Ohio State, they was bringing guys like
how are they poor when they get all those top players? How are they that poor?
They not performing.
They ain't get the offensive line cats.
They're not performing.
I thought they had these great
The
systems.
offensive line, you need to get a better recruiter.
Offensive line is not good, but in my opinion, the biggest hole in their offense is a middle of the field presence. You need a security blanket. You need a Hunter Renfro. You need a guy like Amari Rogers that can run routes. He can run the drag route. He can run the drive route. He can run the quick slants and stuff like that. You need somebody like that. Not everything could be a drawn out, push the ball down the field type of throw, especially when you don't have any time to throw the ball. Like Georgia, I think they sacked DJ a good 6 times.
7 times.
They had 7 sacks in the game, and they had more pressures than that. They had more hurries than that. So like when you under that kind of duress, you need some. I know they tried to throw screens. They tried to, but it just wasn't holding.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I had to take a little snack here. I'm gonna say this. Because we the real sports guys. We're gonna keep this real. I love this vibe. I love where we're flowing right now, man. This is so fun. I'm gonna say this. Everything you said is gonna be a tough road back for them because of whatever all the other stuff that happened to them in their conference. Now, they're gonna get what I call that Alabama love. People are gonna hold them up there, and they're gonna try to train their eyes to keep them up in the top 5, top 4. They're gonna train their eyes to keep them there.
Hey, it's not the Alabama love; it's the 24/7 rivals love.
It might be it. You might be right.
It's recruiting because it's not just Alabama. Ohio State gets it. Georgia gets it. LSU. All the teams that are high on the recruiting rankings, they try to convince themselves, this team is good because we know. And I do it too. Personally, I do it too because I agree because I fall into this too because when we had this discussion in the group chat. We were talking about, we don't know who Clemson is. I'm like, I know who DJ is. You can't tell me I don't know who DJ Uiagalelei is. Yeah. Like, he had a bad game, but I know he'll bounce back because I know how good he is.
And those things, I think, are right, but I think we hold in. And it's not just us. We go back and forth for this. It's going to be the national media outlets who are going to be holding them in because they want that rating. Right, so it's not going to be motivated by the right things. They're going to be justifying in ways that they can't justify for SEC teams. Because if Georgia would have lost, you can justify because Georgia going to have some more tough games on there. If Georgia bounces back, there's an argument to be made, especially when you look at expansion of playoffs and stuff like that. But I think they're going to try and hold Clemson in, and any other year, if it was just terrible to watch as many ACC teams lose like they lost. And so hopefully, some of these teams can bounce back. I mean, even if Miami would have hung in a little tougher, that would have helped. But they got drummed out. And then the Duke loss was terrible, and it's just, and Mac Brown, all that recruiting you did, you come out the gate and y'all flub like this. What, you supposed to have a Heisman Trophy level quarterback, right? And how
he's supposedly,
like, man.
He lost a lot of money that night. He lost a lot of money.
That's all I ever said. Lost a lot of money.
A lot of money. Millions. in the NIL and the NFL and the endorsements. He laid an egg, bro.
What do you think about Kelly out west? I mean, what do you think about UCLA? I don't know how that game ended up here.
Oh yeah, I think Chip Kelly is back. Kelly's back.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
well, he has the formula that he He has the formula that he has thrived in the past. He has a quarterback that is kind of mobile. He's not the best quarterback, to be honest with you. I watched the Hawaii game and I was like, Dorian Thompson, he's not really that good.
Mm-hmm.
But he does give you the threat to run. And that holds the backside. So and he has some interesting schemes there in the running game. They run a lot of the pin and pull, the power read stuff. I like what Chip Kelly is doing on the ground, and they have an offensive line that moves people, and that's what I love. Because you usually don't see that in the West Coast. You usually see a lot of zone scheme, a lot of like the more athletic type offensive linemen, but they'll move you out the way. And Zach Charbonnet is showing how the transfer portal was hurting the University of Michigan. I mean, you see, Zach Charbonnet is acting.
What happened in Michigan? What happened?
He didn't get the touches. I think if you ask me,
he got his first year. He got first
no,
year.
it's the second year. I think it was the second year. But in my opinion, Zach Charbonnet, he needed to get reps to get in a rhythm. Yep. And the way Josh Gaddis runs things. Josh Gaddis does the running back by committee thing. He'll give Hassan Haskins 5 carries. He'll give Zach Charbonnet 7 carries, and then he'll give Blake Corum like 4 carries. And nobody's ever getting into a rhythm. So Zach Charbonnet, he needs to feel it. You know what I'm saying? And you see it with UCLA. The more times he touches the ball, the better he gets. You know what I'm saying?
A big dude needs to rock, man. He's 6'1", 220, man.
And he can run. He's not like that.
That's why brother Gatton's gonna be just like Harbaugh. He'll be Ann Arbor coming into the year.
But to be fair with you, he came from Alabama.
I know he did.
That's the way they do it at Alabama.
He was a position coach.
If you watch Alabama, that's the way they do it. You had a year where
they got talent like
Najee Harris was the 3rd running back on the depth.
I know that. He had talent
that. He had
Josh Jacobs
and Najee Harris. He was the 3rd running back on the depth chart, and he averaged the most yards per carry. It was Damian Harris, it was Josh Jacobs, it was Najee Harris, and it was all getting like their own little 10 carries a game. And that's the way Josh Gaddis was trying to build it. Because he had a power guy in Hassan Haskins, he had a burner in Blake Corum, and a guy that can do a little bit of both in Charbonnet. But
you go with Charbonnet in that situation, you don't have Alabama type talent. You had Charbonnet who clearly bear those cats.
The problem they had was they didn't have the running back coach. Now they do. And so part of it is you see these kids are running different. They're running harder at Michigan. But that's probably what it is. I mean, it's not just how you want to run. You got to have people running with them.
Because of my heart, right? Because of my heart, right?
Hart has got him running.
He's
got him running the right way. He's training them, and I think in these big programs, I think you watch Ohio State, sometimes getting that right alum,
Tony Alford.
You know what I'm saying? At the right position, who understands what you got to do. You got in some of these programs, you got to bring that person back. And that's going to make a difference. It's going to make a difference in how they run the football. But you can't keep losing young people like this. I looked over there. That's the first I said, didn't he play at Michigan? I had to hit up in the text. I was like, look at him run. Because I've been saying, like, last time, I don't know the last time I saw somebody have a long run with Michigan. Then I watched him play. He was killing me.
He did. Yeah, he had a 71-yard run his freshman year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I'm like, that was one I missed. It's just because it's just they weren't as explosive and everything else. But I love what he's doing at UCLA, and that's a market. If you could capture that market, you keep some of those kids.
He's from there. Charbonnet's from LA.
I know, but I'm saying, for Chip Kelly, if Chip Kelly can capture that market, keep some of those kids home, he got something.
Get something like Charbonnet, bring him back home.
Yeah, bring them back home. People start saying they can go back home and play with a winner. And that physical running game is something else. Oklahoma, man. I call them paper champs, but somebody, y'all correct me. They always look good.
They're paper because they were never. Their defense is terrible, and Spencer Rattler. I mean, he just had a poor game, but it's not just impressed with. Lincoln Riley, like he's another cat. He should have gone pro, man. I mean, I just think that he's a college coach, but get that money. But he's showing he's a college coach, and I mean they barely beat Tulsa. So and these gimmicky systems like Mississippi State almost lost to Louisiana Tech. They firing Mike Leach on Twitter for the game even ends that mess. So yeah, it's just it's what it is. But yeah, Oklahoma they should have more. And they have talent. I mean, they got talent on the defensive side of the ball. They got cats who've gone first round. But what is up with this? Is the scheme messed up? Is it just they're not playing right? I mean, it's just like Matador, man.
Hey, I'll tell you what. When Alex Grinch was at Ohio State, they had one of their worst defensive seasons, and that's when him and Greg Schiano got up out of there, and they got who's the defensive? Jeff Hafley. He's the head coach of Boston College right now, but he took over, and that was the year they took that big jump. But in Alex Grinch's defense, before Alex Grinch got to Oklahoma, they were near the bottom of the NCAA in team defense. But now, last year they made the jump from like 120 something to now they're the 25th ranked defense in the country as of last year. I mean, so they have made improvements in their defense. They're not elite yet, but they have made some improvements. I will give them that. But as far as the gimmick Oklahoma stuff,
they fired Stoops. That's what
the gimmick stuff like Oklahoma
120 ranked defense, right?
A lot of stuff that Oklahoma does, the other schools follow that stuff. Like they running a lot of that stuff at Alabama too. They run a lot of the same stuff at Alabama they run at Oklahoma. They run the same stuff of Steve Sarkisian. He runs a lot of the same stuff. I mean, it's a copycat game. So I don't know if I agree with necessarily that it's a gimmick. They did win a couple. They did get 2 or 3 Heisman Trophy winners.
True.
Just under Lincoln Riley. I mean,
but
he's doing something right. I mean, they might not be Alabama right now, but they still are.
The last college game I saw in person before the pandemic, I saw LSU Oklahoma. That was like a pinball machine. They just lit them up, man. Like I said, you ever get a chance to go to Mercedes Dome, man? When they score a touchdown, it's like a pinball machine. Like they show like 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll show it like go like a pinball machine, like you hit like tilt or something. It was crazy, man. How many touchdowns they were scoring? Like Justin Jefferson had 5 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah, LSU was a different animal. LSU that year was something that
ridiculous.
Yeah, it was.
You can tell warming up. I mean, I saw these cats warm up, and I was looking at the cats warming up. They had that dude. There was a backup last year, Brennan.
Yeah, Miles.
I'm like, this cat look like he can start. I mean, I saw Burrow. Yeah, Burrow's the best, but I'm like, this Brennan dude ain't that bad. Like,
he's hurt right now.
Yeah, he hurt right. Yeah. But I mean, they were throwing, they were doing drills. I was just like, dang, these cats balling out on the sideline.
Yeah,
that was real football, man. I said when you down south, when you see a football game, that's real football, dude. Nothing against the Midwest, I love the Midwest, but South is just another thing, man. These cats were just beyond fanatics. Like when Coach O jumped on the field, they started screaming and hollering in pregame. That's how crazy it was, man. And like I said, I knew not to wear no colors. I wore a black suit, sunglasses. They're like, these cats are like, sir, you a scout? I'm like, no, I'm just a fan, sir. I'm just a fan.
Well, I say this. I mean, Oklahoma going over to SEC, I hope they it's going to be interesting. You know, I understand the money move, but it could be tough sledding for them, and on a day-to-day basis. And Penn State came in and had some stuff early in their time in the Big Ten, but then they realized it got to be tough sledding out. They come back. They've had their great years over the years, but it can be that week in and week out. It can be something different. You can be wishing you back in the Big 12, and so it's going to be interesting to see how that all pays out when. I got money that says our friendly coach over in Oklahoma will be making his way to the league before that move happens.
Yeah, yeah. I
If you
would.
talk about
Yeah.
selling
I
your
would.
stocks,
I
if you
would.
have a good run this year,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I'll
moving.
tell you what, they're
Yeah.
not gonna go 4 or 5 years straight winning the SEC like they was winning the Big 12. That's not gonna happen.
That ain't gonna happen, man.
That's not,
No, they ain't trying. They trying to get more money. That's all.
and
But
even
more
worse for
money,
Texas.
more problems, though.
Texas got a
More
lot.
money, more problems. Like Biggie said, more money, more problems, man.
Texas
They have a lot of problems with that defense in the SEC. They have a lot of problems, man.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a great show. We're gonna drop the mic with some final words from each of us. Just some final thoughts for the people. It's been a great weekend. It's been a great Labor Day weekend. I'll start with you, Young, and get some final thoughts.
All right, Labor Day. It's time to I don't. You guys got to educate me, man. What is Labor Day even about? I know it today. We go and celebrate and
The worker, man. The
wait,
worker is
it's
celebrates
a
the
to
worker.
celebrate the workers.
The 40-hour work, yeah, the 40-hour work week.
40-hour work week.
The fact that we have conditions in the workplace used to be where no sick time, no sick leave, no family leave, none of that.
Right.
You had to work. There was no equity in the workplace. That's what this day is about tomorrow.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Everything's about barbecue and grilling.
That's what every holiday is nowadays. Every holiday
Yeah, I know. They bastardize every
hang out with
holiday.
the family, go over to grandma's house, and just go and just enjoy our time with our people. And I guess that's what I'm gonna do. But you guys can go out and celebrate.
Oh, you can do both.
Our workers' rights.
Get your eat on, and
take
then
our
also
labor break.
read you some literature about Labor Day. You too educated. You read you about Labor Day. I ain't saying no book. Just read you a nice article about the importance of Labor Day. That's what you should do. That's your assignment. You should do that. You should read something about the.
And I will be at work on Labor Day, getting that.
You can read an article, bro. You can go Google. You can read a 24/7 report. You can read an article. I'm talking about a small article on Labor Day. That's all you gotta do.
All righty.
You can do that. I know you can do that.
This is why we real sports guys, because we're gonna preach this. Even to Young, this intergenerational stuff. We've been learning a lot from him, and Hammer gonna give him a little bit to go. While you're sitting there, patient sitting, you can open your phone up and read up on it. And then ask, why am I working today? And the crazy thing about it, prior to my current job where I'm at, previous institution, my alma mater, we were working on Labor Day, and I'm thinking I used to go to people like, why are we like, we're a small liberal arts college, why are we doing like, there should be, this is the one thing that makes it great about being at a small liberal arts college, is that you get some benefits like this. Like why are we, I can never figure that out, why they would have class, they would have, I'm like, it's just not about being a private institution, but it's like, how are we supposed to be supporting work-life balance and everything else going on? But I digress. Hammer, what's the final word?
My final word is that it was great having the true week one in college football, but I'm like Darnell, let's not have this be fool's gold. This is 1 week, doesn't make a season, all right? 1 week doesn't make a season. So again, let's make it clear, like, yeah, we had some bad losses, Duke and G Tech, but like I said, the cream of the crop is going to eventually rise. These pretenders that got wins this week, bask in your glory, because you don't come back to earth the next 10, 11 game season. You ain't gonna be in the FBS. Come on, man, you ain't gonna be in the CFP. You're gonna be again in the raggedy bowl, whatever bowl it is gonna be. And so remember, the cream of the crop's gonna rise. Clemson, beside Clemson, got hurt by really not just their loss, but their so-called conference hurt them. But again, some of these one-hit wonders, don't be surprised they come back to earth next week and beyond. So the cream of the crop rises. Like Darnell talks about, talent eventually wins. Coaching obviously the big thing, but talent eventually wins. So Montana had their little, seminal moment yesterday. that'll be another 100 years if it happens again. But that's all I have to say. So, and also shout out to my cats in Wisconsin. One game doesn't make a quarterback. Okay, Graham Mertz is clearly a better quarterback than Jack Cohn, but you gotta get people. I know that I am in Wisconsin right now. You have him clowning all tomorrow. I told you Jack Cohn should be the quarterback. Nah, man. I mean, again, we're gonna see payback come in Soldier Field in a couple weeks, man. Wisconsin, Notre Dame. Wisconsin's gonna stomp Notre Dame. Gonna stomp them like Kirk Franklin, bruh. Stomp on them. Stomp on them, man. That's what that's gonna do, man. That's what happened to the Irish. They're gonna get stomped by Bucky, man.
Wow.
So that's all.
Wow. Hey, it's been a great show. It's just a great weekend. We had our fantasy draft, and we've been able to spend some time with each other. Darnell and I did another boxing moment. Please take time to go over there to realsportsguys.com. You'll be able to check our recent show. We talked a little bit about the Ugas and Pacquiao fight. It was a good show. Darnell was dropping some dimes, some nuggets on the boxing front.
See, it's 38, 35.
Yeah.
And Arizona, Florida State got the ball on the 45, man. Go Noles.
All right, I'm trying to drop the mic, man.
Go Noles.
I'm going to have to put
Sorry
you
about that.
on the mute there. But yeah, I do want to take if you got a chance to come back, when you get over there, we have a really good interview. Had a chance to interview my niece who played college basketball, dropped her album, The Golden Child Mindset. Really good album. I've been listening to it over and over again. We're going to have part 2 of that interview Labor Day evening with the Game Changer. We're going to put her in the booth with him to talk. He's going to do a deep dive on the album, and they're going to have a conversation. And it's just good to create a space where we are able to have student athletes share what they're doing. Last time we had an athlete on here was Fred VanVleet when he was at Wichita State. You know how that turned out. So, we catch him early. We catch him early on the rise, and this is definitely something you should check out. Again, The Golden Child Mindset by the artist Nell. Related to myself and Darnell over there, just good. We got talent in the family. Darnell knows that, and we've always had talent throughout our family. So it's always good to be able to share that stuff on our platform. We got a lot of talent. So you can see this with this young man, and so really feels good to know that even though we're celebrating on Labor Day, that we all had the ability to take control of our own future, to create our own future. And that's one of the things we've been trying to do here with RSG, like the little engine that could. We create our own space to have our own conversation, and that's, part of the empowerment movement. So I'm glad to be here with y'all and the rest of the folks. And we'll see y'all, on the other side of this game. So take it easy until we see you again. This is D. Wills hitting you up here on Rsg One Mic. Bye-bye.
Yes, today. Yes, today. As we start the show, this one mic. We hail. And there is a pause throughout the stadium as this man sounds like he just coughs up a lung. Just looking around, the Jumbotron shows and pans the cheerleaders, and as it goes down each cheerleader's face, each one breaks up into laughter, which at this particular time destroys half the stadium. The other half is still trying to figure out what the hell just happened. Does this guy need CPR or something? And then at that particular time, I lost it. Devon Truck. Yes, today.
Blog Talk Radio.
Show this one mic.
Phoenix is another place. They got a great training staff. They were able to breathe life back into Shaq. And you can do that. People talk a lot about their training staff.
Blog.
Yes, today, as we start this show.